Welcome to the Joski and Goo podcast. Welcome back. We took a bit of a hiatus after our last podcast. I think I was just so embarrassed by how wrong I was about the NFL playoffs. We took a little bit of hiatus, but we're back now. And today we're going to be talking about a lot of, good sports stuff going on around all the leagues. Detroit sports, Michigan sports. We're going crazy. Everything's happening. Baseball's falling apart. The NFL playoffs are here, obviously. The wild card weekend was insane. In my opinion, that was the best wildcard weekend in years. Like, that was almost every game was like fourth quarter lead changes. There was comebacks. There was almost upsets. There was upsets. What were your thoughts on wildcard weekend, Goob?
Well, this is our first podcast of the year, so let's just make sure that's clear. And
First
then you are
podcast.
Joski and I am Goob.
Oh yeah,
so
sorry.
Clear.
All right.
Yeah.
I really get ahead of myself.
So yeah, the wild card round was pretty crazy. I think the teams that made it through were teams that were predicted, except for Philly. I mean, I think Philly was predicted to beat San Francisco.
That was an upset.
We're going to start with let's start with the AFC schedule for Saturday, which is the Bills versus the Broncos.
All right, Bills at Broncos in Denver, Mile High Stadium. The 1 seed Denver Broncos. No one would have said that at the beginning of the year. With their stellar defense, the best defense in the NFL. We can go ahead and say that. Only really rivaled by, I guess, maybe Houston would be an argument. But my key players for this game, Josh Allen, first of all. You have to come to play. Josh Allen, if he does not come to play, they don't have a chance. He had a really great game last week, and they barely won. Josh Allen, you need to have probably one of the best games of your career to beat this Denver defense.
I'm going to go slight edge with Buffalo just for the fact that they've got playoff experience.
Mm-hmm.
Denver doesn't, and that's not to say that means anything.
Yeah.
But it can be a huge factor. I mean, if Cook can get going on the running game, and Buffalo's defense can stop Denver. I mean, Denver's running game is in question right now. So I mean,
they have RJ Harvey.
They haven't been stable the whole season. They've really counted on their passing attack.
And most of their wins are one-score games.
Buffalo's secondary is susceptible. So I mean, it should be a decent game, and fun to watch. But you're 100%. Right. If Josh Allen doesn't have a great game,
it's not going to happen. They're not going to win.
I think, and you listen to all the so-called experts. This is kind of his year because, he has no Mahomes. He has no anyone to rival him.
This is the year to do it. This is the year to do it. You have to win it this year. If you don't, then...
Could you imagine the statue they build in Buffalo at the new stadium?
Oh, 100%.
If he was to bring them a Super Bowl.
In their last year with the stadium, Wood Stadium?
Well, not only that, but you look at their previous 4 Super Bowl games.
Heartbreak.
They couldn't get it done.
Complete heartbreak, 100%.
And they had the talent. I mean, they had Thurman Thomas. They had Jim Kelly. I mean,
Yeah, no, I think it's going to come down to can he play well, but also getting into my next people is Kahil Shakir and Keon Coleman. Can your pass catchers step up? Both of those guys were really kind of quiet last week. They have 4 receivers either questionable or out. Gabe Davis, Curtis Palmer, Joshua Palmer, or Curtis Samuel, Josh Palmer. All questionable or out. Gabe Davis is out with an ACL tear. You're done.
Isn't Kincaid their tight end out too?
Kincaid. I think Kincaid's in. It should be Kincaid.
Is he back? Okay.
I think so. Let me. I can. We'll check that.
Slight hope.
We'll fact check that. All right. Wait. Let's check here. But while we check that, if the pass catchers can come out to play and can have a good game, then yes, they completely have a shot. Don Kincaid is in. He is active. If they
I haven't looked at the weather forecast for Denver, so I don't know what. So
it'll probably be a little iffy. Obviously, it's January in a a high altitude place. I don't know if it's gonna snow, but I know it's probably gonna be cold. But then again, both these teams play in cold weather. Obviously, Denver.
They're cold weather teams.
Denver has Denver teams always have the altitude advantage, but I don't know how much that actually affects the gameplay. But for Denver, you said it earlier, they have had a questionable run game. My player, obviously I have the defense, but we talked about the defense enough. Can you contain Josh Allen? If you can contain Josh Allen and you can contain James Cook, you can win the game. That's literally how you beat them. Because then but also, can you establish the run? RJ Harvey, you are my key player of the game, because in all 5 games that the Buffalo Bills have lost this year, they've given up 70 or more total rushing yards to the team. No J.K. Dobbins. McLaughlin, yeah, he's, a little bit younger. RJ Harvey, can you help lead your team to victory by establishing the run game? Devon Achane had a great game. Bijan Robinson, the one of the games that it was kind of iffy was against the Patriots the first time when they lost, because Stevenson and Henderson kind of had a iffy, but even then they combined for the 70 yards, and so did May. So, like, if as a team you can get to 70 or more rushing yards, that's the number. You can get to 70 more rushing yards, you can beat this team. Obviously, they've given up 70 more and lost, but that's the one common factor in all the games they have lost this year, is the 70 or more rushing yards. So if you can get to that mark and maybe exceed it too, because the 2 big upsets they've had this year was when, obviously Denver I think is favored, but when Miami upset them and when the Falcons upset them, both those games, Devon Achane and Bijan Robinson went for 150 plus. So, I mean, obviously I'm not saying RJ Harvey's on that level, but I'm saying if you can establish your ground game early, you can beat the Buffalo Bills like anyone. And even then, last week, Travis Etienne had a good game, and they still couldn't get it done. So even then, you got to contain and have a good run game and control the clock and have the ball for majority of the game. That is that's how Denver can beat them, but I don't think they will. I like you said, I give Buffalo the slight edge just because they have playoff experience and I trust them more. But not by much. Not by much. San Francisco at Seattle. Up next in Seattle. Obviously, these teams split 1-1. Obviously, they played at week 1 and then week 18, so the furthest 2 points in the season. The last time they played, here's a little fun thing about the Seahawks. Both games, they only scored 13 points. The first time they scored 13 and they lost 17-13. Second time they scored 13 but won 13-3. CMC is my player to watch. He is the difference maker in this game. He only had 57 total yards against Seattle last time. I think that's his lowest total all year. He had less than 25 rushing yards. So it is going to be a question of, can CMC get going? Can Shanahan draw up plays that get CMC involved? I mean, last week he did it against a really good Eagles defense, getting 114 yards off 6 receptions and a touchdown, like the game-winning touchdown as well. So do you think CMC can get it going enough where they can win this game?
Well, I think for San Francisco to have a chance, he has to. Mm-hmm. Mike McDonald, great defensive-minded coach, they came in with a game plan to make them one-dimensional. Yeah. They wanted Purdy to beat them, which he couldn't do.
Which I don't think he can.
He struggled last week against the Eagles.
2 picks.
If he I don't want to make them one-dimensional just because they need the running game going. But I mean, it's hard. They split the series, so it's hard to beat. They always say it's hard to beat a team twice.
They both beat each other once, so someone has to beat the other twice.
And my biggest thing that surprised me last week was how well San Francisco's defense played.
100%. They shut down Saquon in almost the whole game.
Yeah. So I mean, if that defense can recreate what they did last week, mm-hmm. Seattle's in trouble.
100%. I think there is a path for the San Francisco 49ers to win this game. And if they win this game, next week, they get Fred Warner back possibly. So that could be someone to look out for if they win this game. I also said Purdy is a key player. 10 interceptions in just 10 starts this year. He had 3 against Seattle. He had 2 in the first game that they won, and then 1 in the game that they lost, which was a game-losing one. Obviously, wasn't his fault. CMC dropped it. It was behind him, but CMC dropped it.
Yeah, but how many picks did he throw last week against Philly?
Last week he had 2 and they won. He had a game with 3 this year and they won. So it really seems like when he throws picks, honestly, he plays better because he's all right, I'm throwing picks anyways. Might as well just sling it. Last week, he had a bunch of yards with Demarcus Robinson. He had CMC, obviously. Missing George Kittle's a big factor, so Jake Tongs, their backup tight end, is going to have to step up. Other pass catchers are going to have to step up, like Jawan Jennings. Ricky Pearsall might be active for the game after being in and off all year, but who knows if he plays a snap, feels bad, and gets out. You never know. My other people for the 49ers, get pressure. You get pressure on Sam Darnold, you win the game. Do you want to guess where San Francisco ranks in sacks total this year?
I'd say the bottom.
Dead last at 20 sacks.
Yeah.
They are 6 behind the New York Jets with 26.
What?
they're 6 behind the New York Jets with 26. They have only 20 sacks this year, and they only had 1 last week. If you can somehow draw up pressure, Robert Saleh, you can somehow draw up pressure, you can win the game. But unfortunately, if you don't get pressure, you're not winning that dang game. But I also will say, that for Seattle, your way of winning this game is having good red zone offense. In their win 2 weeks ago against the Niners, they were 0 for 3 in the red zone, and they still won the game. They were 0 for 3 in the red zone. The time they lost to them, they were 1 for 3 in the red zone. So their red zone offense against the Niners has not been very good.
Well, their key player that has to produce is Sam Darnold.
100%. Sam Darnold needs to be that guy.
And the thing about him all season is we don't really know which Sam Darnold we're going to get.
Yeah, you don't know. You never know.
And he struggled. He has struggled in the past in the playoffs.
I will say,
they're at home.
Yeah.
So it depends on his. I mean, I think both quarterbacks need to play. In a top elite game
exactly
for their team to win. So,
I think that too, and I also think Sam Darnold, obviously, last time he played in the playoffs, a 77.6 rating and a 27-9 loss against the Rams. He was sacked 9 times, had 1 interception, and had 1 fumble lost. He did not have a good game last time he was in the playoffs. Obviously, that's a different team. He was with Minnesota. He was playing a different team. Like all of that. So realistically, this team can win with Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold needs to be able to play. The thing is, Sam Darnold is questionable with an oblique injury.
So let's look at this piece too. Are they going to get bit by the number 1 seed jinx bug?
Maybe.
Because they haven't played.
Yeah.
San Francisco played last week.
Yeah.
So.
Do you want to turn on your light? It's getting a little dark. You want to turn on your light?
Yeah. I will.
You can turn around and. Yeah. Hey, we're authentic here. It's fine. Hey, this is my bad. I took a while to take notes for the record, guys. I took a while to take notes. We lost daylight. This one's on me. It's not on Goob here. All right. Yeah. Then I will say, Drew Lock would be their quarterback if Sam Darnold was not good to go. Drew Lock would be their quarterback.
Well, no, I saw the report today. Darnold is saying he's fine.
He's saying he's practiced, fine. But I'm saying if he comes in, gets a hit, and he's like, oh, I cannot even walk on this. I mean, even though Amon-Ra St. Brown played a whole season on a torn oblique torn off the bone, but I mean, not everyone could be as tough as him. If Darnold isn't ready to go, it's Drew Lock, who in his last NFL start was last year against the Eagles with the Giants. He was 22 of 29, 138 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 82.3 rating. Not a bad outing. And I think Clint Kubiak can scheme around that. So here's my situation. Drew Lock comes in. I still think the Seahawks have a good chance of winning. Sam Darnold's been playing it out of his mind, but if Drew Lock comes in, I think Kubiak can adapt, and he can play a good enough game.
I agree with that. So I mean, Kubiak can scheme up with whatever players in,
especially if Seattle can't get pressure, or the Niners can't get pressure. If the Niners can't get pressure.
So here's the thing I'm thinking of is the fact that how San Francisco shut down Saquon last week.
Mm-hmm.
Are they able to do it against Charbonnet
and Kenneth Walker, who both had almost 100 yards last time? So you never know.
It's going to be, it should be interesting. I hope it's a good game.
I'll give it to Seattle.
It's not boring. So
I'm still going to give it to Seattle. Just trust them.
I've got a check mark next to San Francisco. I think if their defense can step up, we'll see.
We'll see who's right. I gotta stick with the number 1 seed. Houston and New England. At New England in Foxborough, it's gonna be.
That's the Sunday. Cool. That's the first game Sunday, correct?
First game Sunday, 12 p.m. I will be working, but Houston. Nico Collins is out. Nico Collins is out with a concussion.
Oh yeah.
So the man who has to step up is the man who stepped up last week, Mr. Christian Kirk. Former Jaguar, Mr. Christian Kirk, 8 receptions, a touchdown, 144 yards last week. He's the deep threat, too. So that means C.J. Stroud, if they drop plays, he's going to have to throw the ball downfield. I didn't write him down, but Jaden Higgins is also going to have to, play well. But Christian Kirk is going to have to be the player that steps up. I also think C.J. Stroud, if he can have a good game, obviously last week, 250 yards, touchdown. I think he also had a pick, too. But, good game. You have to play a clean, good game to win in this league. And CJ Stroud has been doing that. CJ Stroud has been playing clean football. And I think he definitely can lead this team to a victory in an upset fashion over the New England Patriots. He can definitely do that. The one thing for Houston, though, is the O-line play. New England last week had 6 sacks. They also were playing the Chargers, who have the worst offensive line in the history of everything. Their front office hates Justin Herbert. But
Houston's strength hasn't been their offense this year. It's been their defense.
100%. But so. I obviously, that's why I tried to leave out, for the defensive-heavy teams, I tried to leave out defense as a key player, because I'm like, obviously, I'm trying to see these guys step up, they win. If the offensive line can protect Stroud, Stroud has time, Stroud can get deep shots to Kirk, he can get the ball to Schultz, he can get the ball to Jaden Higgins, he can get the screens to Woody Marks or Nick Chubb, the run game can get going. They can beat this New England team. This New England team isn't unbeatable. They've had a bad schedule, or an easy schedule, but I don't think that we should knock them for that. They're still a good football team. They've beat good football teams. I personally just think...
So here's my personal take on New England.
Yeah.
I think they're a good football team because they believe in their coach.
Mike Vrabel's a great coach. He's a player's coach.
Not only is he a great coach, but his players are playing their butts off for him. And that makes a total difference in your mentality as a football team, even though they're the number one seed.
The number one seed, or the number 2 seed.
So,
the number 2 seed.
Number 2 seed because behind Denver. But when you have player buy-in at any level, your team can win with least amount of talent.
1,000%. 1,000%. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. I do think New England has a shot, and I think their key players are their O-line. The Texans had 47 sacks on the year. That made them 7th. They had 4 last week against Aaron Rodgers. So Drake May can obviously move better than Rodgers, but even then, this New England team, I think, gave up 5 sacks to the Chargers last week. So when it all comes down to it, can the offensive line for the Patriots, protect May well enough to get a win? Another player on the defensive side of the ball is Milton Williams. I believe his name. He's the defensive tackle for the Patriots, who came back last week after being injured and had 2 sacks and 2 TFLs. He immediately made an impact. Can he help them stop Woody Marks? Can he help them stop CJ Stroud? Can he help them stop Nick Chubb? I think he can. Christian Gonzalez, can he get a takeaway? Their corner, can you get takeaways? Like I said, it's a turnover margin. Almost every team that wins a turnover margin is going to win the game. So if they can force CJ Stroud to make mistakes, throw a pick, fumble the ball, you force their kick returner to muff a punt, that's your path to winning this game. Because Lord knows your offense is going to have a hellish day. Your offense, if the Patriots only scored 16 points last week against the Chargers, I don't want to see what Houston's going to do to them. I don't want to see that. That's murder on live television. I don't want to watch that. I personally think, Drake May is going to get passing yards. Drake May he's played 18 games this year. I think he's gone over 200 passing yards in 16 of 18. I think he's gone over 225 in 15 of 18, 14 of 18, whatever the number is. He's going to get passing yards, but this Houston defense, is 5th in pass yards given up per game. They only give up 180 a game. New England's 8th. We might be in for a slow slugfest here. They are both top 10 in passing yards allowed per game.
We saw that between Houston and Pittsburgh the other night.
And then that game basically, without the 2 defensive touchdowns, is 21-6. So a pretty low scoring game. Or we'll say 13-6. And then obviously it was 16-3 was the end of the Charger Patriot game. We're in for, if you like defense, watch this game. This game's going to be a defensive battle.
Absolutely.
I do think Houston comes out on top and pulls off the upset. I think I got Houston winning it.
I got a check mark on New England.
I think I got Houston going all the way to the bowl, but that's just me. Maybe it should have changed a little last week. I think. Oh, I got Buffalo going to the bowl, but I had Houston originally, so I got to go Houston over New England. I just think Houston's more battle tested. I'm just saying New England gave up a 21-0 lead against the Bills. This Houston team beat that same Bills team with Davis Mills as their quarterback. Just think about that. Yeah. Obviously, don't change your pick. But I'm saying with Davis Mills,
I'm trusting Vrabel with getting his guys motivated.
That's fair, and he's been here before. Vrabel's been here before. DeMeco Ryans hasn't. I understand.
How many rings does Vrabel have? I mean, he's been.
As a player, I'm thinking about it as a coach. He took the Titans to the AFC Championship a few times. But yeah, I'm gonna go Houston here. Obviously, he's gonna go New England. We'll find out next week who was right. The last game, the 3:30 game on Sunday, LA Rams at the Chicago Bears. The West Coast team playing in a cold weather state. Obviously, that's been the talk of the town this week about that. I don't care. Matthew Stafford played in Detroit, had to play Chicago twice a year for 15 years.
So here's a little piece that I heard today about Matthew Stafford, and this is why I'm predicting the Rams to win. He's going to wear a scuba suit underneath.
We know what happened.
Apparently he learned this in playing in Detroit when he knew he was going to have to play in bad weather. This is what he wore.
That's what Brady wore. That's how Brady stayed warm. Scuba suit. You've seen scuba suit Brady. Brady turns it on with the scuba suit. I can't wait. Matthew Stafford, I didn't know about that. He's wearing a scuba suit. Give me 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. I'll take that. I'll take whatever odds those are. Oh my gosh. All right. My key concepts. These aren't really key players. These are key concepts. One of them's not even a player. One of them's a coach. LA Rams, protect the ball. Last week, you played the Panthers. You had one turnover only. They had only one turnover, I believe. They had an interception. And you won the game. You barely won against the Panthers. Every game they play clean football. Matthew Stafford has 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 250 yards plus. Those are games that they win. That's all you have to do, Stafford, against this vulnerable secondary. Also for LA, finish the game. Don't be a Packers team. If you're up late, 21-3, if you're up 21-3 at halftime, keep your foot on the gas. Do not let up against this Bears team, because we've seen what they can do. They'll just be like, all right, let's start playing football in the fourth quarter, and then they win.
They've been a fourth quarter team all
They
season.
were a fourth quarter team at the beginning of the year. They're going to be a fourth quarter team now. But guess what? The best thing you can do to fourth quarter teams is make it an impossible comeback. Because fourth quarter teams are only good if the game's within 3 scores in the fourth quarter. You make it a 4-score, even a 5-score game, they're not coming back in one quarter. Okay? So I'll give you that. Sean McVay. I'm circling this. Do not get in the Matt LaFleur trap. Don't get conservative with play calling. Still pass the ball when you're up. Don't just try to run. Give the ball to Corum. Give the ball to Williams. But then pass it to Puka. Pass it to Adams. You have the best offense in football right now. You have the best offensive weapons in football. You have a young running back coming to his own, getting taught by a veteran running back who is really good. You have a young receiver who is one of the best receivers in football, if not the best if you don't like JSN. And then you have Devontae Adams, one of the best red zone threats. And then you have one of the most accurate quarterbacks of all time. What could you ask more? You're getting a guard back this week you've been missing. You have a good O-line. You have a top 10 defense. The Rams on paper should win the Super Bowl. But the only team that can beat the Rams is the Rams. If the Rams don't protect the ball like they have had at times, and obviously cold weather games, they get ugly. We know cold weather games get ugly. When it's cold, the ball's like a rock. You drop it, turns into a pick. You fumble it, turns into a possession of the team. So protect the ball, finish the game. Don't get conservative play calling. Chicago, show up early. Chicago, the game starts in the first quarter. You can play football. You're allowed to reach the end zone in the first quarter. That's something you're allowed to do. Like, you don't have to wait. I feel like Chicago thinks they have to wait. Like, oh, we'll play later. No, we'll play later. No, you have to show up in all 4 quarters.
I'm going to simplify it for myself. I'm going with LA because they have playoff experience. Chicago doesn't.
100%. I'll take that. But also, people said that about Packers-Bears. The Packers had a lot of playoff experience going into this. Bears had none. You can't use that against a team like that.
But you played a team that you played twice before, so you know the MO.
It's their first meetup this year, yeah. I will say another key person is the secondary, Jalen Johnson, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You know, they're guys like that. Defend Puka and Adams. If you can somehow find a way to defend them, then you can win the game, of course. That's how it works if you take away their weapons. But
that guy's just, he's on a neck.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know, I honestly, I don't know if you can do much. He scored 2 touchdowns against the Panthers. He scored 2 touchdowns in the first, 5 minutes. I blinked and he had 2 touchdowns already. It's like, all right, nice. That's great. Colston Loveland, obviously.
I liked LA's game plan last year. I mean, they came out throwing and within, 1 to 2 plays, they scored.
It was 14-0. And obviously they had the turnovers, let the Rams get back in the game. They got conservative with their play calling, had some bad 4th down decisions, and they ended up almost losing that game. But then you have the vintage Stafford moment, go down, have a game-winning drive. Obviously the most game-winning drives among active quarterbacks, probably top 5 all time. Clutch players, in my opinion. Matthew Stafford's one of the clutchest players in history.
I'm just saying, out of all the quarterbacks that are left right now in the playoffs,
Stafford's the best.
If you want somebody, and you are depending on a last-minute drive That's your guy.
2-minute drive, fate of the universe on the line. Honestly, I'll give every quarterback in the playoffs this. We have some clutch quarterbacks. Josh Allen going down, walking his team down with like less than 5 minutes left. Caleb Williams staying composed as a second-year quarterback. Stafford, obviously, with the game-winning drive. Even Bryce Young on the other end of that game, he had to go down and score with less than 5 minutes left, and he got it done.
Yeah.
I think we need to stop, and obviously, I picked the Rams as well before we move on to the national championship. We just have to stop for a second and appreciate the level of football we are getting right now and the level of quarterback play that we are getting. I love it. Football this year has been so amazing. Quarterbacks this year have been great. Defenses coming back. You know, there's low-scoring games again, but there's also high-scoring games. Last year, how many 50-point games did we see? A lot, right? Lions had 2 of them. We had a lot of 50-point games. Do you want to know how many there were this year? For a team, one team scoring 50 points. How many times did it happen?
I can't even think of one.
One time, week 2, the Lions did it. It was the one time, all year. So, I'm just saying, we're bringing defense back. Games are getting lower scoring, you know. I knew the season was going to be good when week 1 Sunday Night Football was that Bills-Ravens game where it was like that last-minute comeback the Bills had. I'm just saying, fans out there, appreciate it while we have it, because in a few weeks, we're going to be missing football.
Oh, absolutely. I was just going to say that. It's going to be sad. This is going to be over in a couple weeks.
Let's just appreciate it while you can. You know, there's what?
Yeah.
4 games this weekend, 2 games next weekend, then the Super Bowl.
I know I had a discussion with one of my patients today about because the Super Bowl is going to be in our backyard. It's just going to be a couple hours down the road.
Yeah.
I thought, but still, I want to be in the comfort of my own home.
I would never, I'll say this. I would never go to the Super Bowl unless the Lions are playing in it. And even then, that's if I'm financially well off. I'm not risking my house to go watch the Lions play in the Super Bowl. I could get cable and watch it on YouTube TV. That's fine. I've had the stadium experience. It was fun, but I like having money too. I see Rams. So my picks personally. I'm going Buffalo, Seattle, Houston, Rams. Goob over here is going Buffalo, San Francisco, New England, Rams. Correct?
That's right.
We'll see who comes out right. We'll see who comes out right.
Yeah.
Whoever gets more
All
is
right,
better.
College football playoffs, and this is another sad chapter of the year. We're at the national championship, and it's the end. We got Indiana versus Miami, and I think a key piece for Miami is they're playing in a freaking home game, dude. They're playing in their home stadium.
Yeah, but so is Mendoza. He grew up in Miami, so he's gonna have his home energy, and the quarterback controls the energy.
I'm taking Indiana just because they're the Big Ten team, and the fact that
they're just the best team in football.
No one's been able to stop them. So
yeah, I can confidently say that this Indiana Hoosiers team can beat the Las Vegas Raiders currently.
What about the Cleveland Browns?
Not the Cleveland Browns. Put them against the 0-16 Lions. See how it works. No, I saw someone say, off topic. I saw someone say to me the other day. I was like, no matter how great a college football team is, it's never gonna Someone said the 2019 LSU gets beat by 40 against the 07 Lions. I'm like, the crazy thing is that's true. Any NFL team would dog walk any college football team. You take the.
I disagree. We will never see that.
It'll never know.
But
the 2000
the way
Lions.
College football is today, and the way these teams are built, they're built for the NFL level.
No, I don't think
they run NFL schemes. I'm just. This is my opinion. I would put up a top college team against an NFL team any day of the week.
No.
Yeah.
You got to understand, all of the guys in the NFL were the best players on their team. Were the best players on their college team. So that's why they got drafted. That's the point. Is every NFL team has. There's NFL teams with multiple number 1 picks and we're getting the thumbs up going on here. Let's get into this. The top, and I just saw this stat on ESPN, so I want to talk about it. The key players for Miami is obviously Ruben Bain Jr. and that defensive line. If you can get pressure on Mendoza, he will throw in completions. He is under pressure. He's only throwing 51%. With no pressure, he's throwing 80%. You let him have time, he'll pick you apart. That's how every quarterback is almost. But Mendoza especially, you give him time, he'll pick you apart. So get pressure, and can Beck make correct decisions against this really good and really smart Indiana defense? Indiana runs defensive schemes I haven't seen a college football team run. They confused the hell out of Dante Moore last week. So I mean, I really do think that, personally, I do think that Indiana's going to win, of course. But I don't think it's going to be as far fetched as people say. I think it's going to be a closer game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be, well, maybe that's
Well,
me
I mean,
hoping.
so
That's probably me hoping. But
let's back up a step. How did Indiana decimate the Oregon team?
I put that in my.
Did Oregon just not show up?
I put that in
I
my.
mean,
I put that in my Indiana notes. Play Indiana football, protect Mendoza, no stupid penalties, force turnovers, then capitalize. That's what they did. The first play of the game was a pick six, and every turnover they forced put them on Oregon's side of the ball, and they scored every time. They had 2 fumbles, a blocked punt, and a pick six, and they scored off of each one of them. Without those, it was 56-22. Without those 4 scores, it's 28-22. If it's just going offense for offense. Their yardage was almost the same as Oregon's. That game should have been 28-22. But because they forced the turnovers...
because you just said it. Because they were starting in
Oregon
Short territory.
Exactly.
They didn't have to drive that extra yards to get to the score.
Exactly. So, force turnovers and capitalize. And you can force Carson Beck into turnovers. He's done it before.
Yeah.
You can force Carson Beck.
Yeah,
you can force fumbles on this.
Watch his Georgia footage.
Exactly. Even this playoff, he's had games where they've turned the ball over. They've had turnovers and still ended up winning. Like, they've had games like that where they have had turnovers. Let me check here. Let's find this out. Against Ole Miss, Beck threw a pick. Against Ole Miss, that, so he had an interception. Against Ohio State, Beck had a really clean game. Actually, he didn't throw a pick. But against Texas A&M, that was a game where I think he definitely threw a pick, didn't he? No, he didn't throw one. Oh, dang. So never mind. He's been protecting the ball these playoffs. My bad. That's my bad, guys. But even last week, he threw a pick, got over it. You can force this man into turnovers all year. You've been able to. So if they can force turnovers and capitalize and score, they're going to win the game. They are going to win the game. That's really what it is. And I'm picking Indiana. It's the safe pick. I'm not going to do the flashy pick where I pick Miami. And then when it doesn't happen, I'm like, oh, I picked the underdog. I'm just picking Indiana. Just give me Indiana. I don't think there's any... Is there anything more to say about that game? It's just pick Indiana. No. Indiana's going to win.
It's Indiana's game to lose.
Oh, 100%. So. And then Kirk Cignetti becomes the greatest coach of all time. All right. Coaching carousel over here?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's, 9 vacancies right now?
I believe so. Well, I think minus Giants.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Giants, it's not official.
It's not official, but they're working out a deal.
The Giants are getting a darn good head coach. John
Harbaugh. And that's an attractive job with how many young good guys they have.
I mean, look at that young, core he's got to build from.
Yeah.
The question is he going to just bring all his staff from the Ravens over with him? I mean,
I don't know. I haven't heard any reports yet. We'll see. We don't know. I apologize, guys. We are having technical difficulties. Okay, you're good. You were frozen. You were frozen for a second. You're good to go. Continue with what
you were frozen.
Well,
I wasn't frozen. You were frozen.
Well, they see what I see, so you were frozen. They see what I see.
Yeah, but you were frozen.
Yeah, but they see what I see. So you guys see what I see, so you see him freezing. You don't see me. But yeah, no, I think he walks into a great job. You have a young quarterback that had a great rookie year. You have Malik Neighbors, who had a great rookie year and then got hurt early. You have Cam Scatterbu, who is having a great year, then got hurt. If you can go out and get some O-line pieces, buff up the secondary, maybe maybe pay Wan'Dale Robinson or get a second receiver in free agency, that's all you have to do, and this is already a playoff team.
Or I mean, I don't know New York's draft pick either, but he could get quality players to the draft.
That's what I mean. I think they could use that draft pick. You trade back and get some more picks. Get some more picks.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying
build up that whole line, build up that defense, like you said.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
I think you go out and you get a star receiver. You buff up your secondary a little bit, because their front 7 is just insane. Their defensive line is, oh my goodness, that's a job I want, is teaching that defensive line, because you don't need anything. Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, like I could go on. They have it. They have all guys that are Pro Bowl caliber, all pro caliber. And they're all young, so
we, what we say, there was 8 spots open. I think the biggest surprise was Tomlinson stepping down in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, because he didn't get fired. He stepped down. I think he's going to do a Sean Payton, where Sean Payton stepped down, did media for a year, and then because the Pittsburgh Steelers technically have his rights for 2 years.
Right. And that's what all the so-called experts are predicting too.
And then they're gonna trade him to another. He's gonna try to come back to coaching, and they're gonna have to trade him to a team. I mean, the Broncos ended up having to gave up a first round pick for Payton. That's how the Saints got the Broncos first round.
Isn't that weird for a coach?
Yeah, first round pick.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's worked out for the Broncos. They're the number 1 seed. They're 14-3. So
here's what I read today on potential head coaches.
Oh, these are predictions. Okay, these are the predictions. All right.
So Pittsburgh, there's been reports that Jesse Mittner, the LADC, that's what they're thinking.
That's
Atlanta. They're predicting is it Clint Kubiak, the Seattle OC.
Oh, that would be really good. Oh my goodness.
I didn't really see anything on Arizona. Baltimore, the throwing out the Kevin Stefanski from Cleveland.
Oh yeah, that would be insane. That would be insane. I after what he did to Shaduro last year, I don't think he should have a job. That guy sabotaged him so hard.
Yeah, and then Cleveland, they were talking Mike McDaniel from Miami.
Why would you want that?
I don't know.
Why would you want that?
That's okay. Let's talk about that. Why would you want to go to Cleveland? What outside Shador? What would draw you to Cleveland?
They have a good young defense, but they have Njoku. They have young
their
pieces.
Ownership sucks, dude. If their ownership would ever get off their butt and do what Detroit did and finally move off from Ford, old man Ford, and get people in play to make decisions, have a good GM, have a good coach, and have an owner who supports you.
I think
Cleveland's just not there.
Yeah, I personally think Cleveland's going to hire Jim Schwartz, their DC. I think they're going to promote him.
I see just because Schwartz, was Detroit's head coach at one time, so he's got head coaching experience. Even though Mike McDaniel was a head coach, at least with Schwartz, he's got camaraderie. He knows the players. He knows the system. Yeah. So that would make a more sensible fit.
Yeah, and I personally think too. I could never see Cleveland having an offensive-minded coach. I think they're a defensive team. I think they need defensive-minded coaches, in my opinion. I don't see them having an offensive-minded coach.
So the rumor is for Vegas, Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator from San Francisco.
That would not be bad. I would want an offense. Then you'd have to go get a really good OC. Because Saleh was not good with the Jets on offense. I think you would need to go get a really good OC.
Miami, Chris Shula, the Rams DC.
That could be good. And then Raheem Morris, I think he's going to replace Shula as the DC in LA because he has ties to Sean McVay.
Tennessee, Matt Nagy, the KC OC.
Chicago Bears. You guys know how bad Matt Nagy was as a head coach. Holy. I mean, he's a good coordinator. And I think...
and that's just it. In my opinion, some guys just need to stay as a coordinator.
100%.
When you're the head coach, you are the CEO of the football franchise.
Yeah, but I think
you don't know how to run as a CEO. Know your role. Stay in your lane. Stay as a coordinator.
I agree with that. I think honestly, I think McDaniels should come to the Lions. Be the DC for a few years, and then you go find another job. Go the OC, sorry, for a few years. Then go find another job. Look what Saleh did. Saleh didn't work out with the Jets. Went to Niners. 2 years of being able to coach up really hurt defenses, and now he's going to go be a head coach somewhere again. Whether or not he's going to succeed, no. But also, I will say, what sucks is I think that snowstorm hit Detroit right as McDaniels got there, and McDaniels is coming from Miami. He might not want to live there because of the weather. The weather might be a little much for him. But
they play indoors.
Yeah, but I'm saying living there. He has to live there still. He has to not be. He can't be indoors all the time. No, what I will say though is he interviewed I think today for the Buccaneers offensive coordinator job.
Well, he's got to go through the circuit, man.
I think he wants to be a head coach, but I think he would not want to go somewhere where he's just gonna get fired in a year or two again. So I think I just think he's gonna. I want him to go. I want him to go to my Lions. I don't
know. I don't see him as a head coach.
Not at all.
Is he a football savant on offense?
He's a genius. Absolutely. He made Jimmy Garoppolo to the Super Bowl. He helped take Jimmy Garoppolo to the Super Bowl. Imagine what he's gonna do with Jared Goff, who's better than Jimmy G was. Like I think honestly,
But that's what I'm saying. Certain guys need to know their roles, and if
yeah,
you're not a CEO, you're not a player. I mean, look at why. I'll go back to Vrabel. I mean, why is he being so successful this year? Because he's a player's
he's a
coach.
player's
He's
coach.
got them bought in, and he knows how to run that operation.
Because
Some guys
yeah,
don't have it.
there's three different types of coaches. There's the CEO, the Dan Campbells, the Mike Vrabels, the I'm gonna do this, but then my coordinators could handle everything else. I'm gonna get these guys motivated and ready to go. Then there's the Sean McVays and the Matt LaFleurs who are and the Ben Johnsons who are gonna I'm gonna call the offense. You know, everyone can do their other stuff. I'm gonna have some helpers. You know, and then there's like the Mike McDonald's. You know, those guys that are like I'm gonna call my defense. You know, the D'Amico Ryans, the Aaron Glens are like I'm gonna call my defense. You know, and it comes down to who came from being a coordinator to a head coach and who came from being an assistant to a head coach. Dan Campbell was never a coordinator. He was an assistant. He was the tight ends coach turned interim head coach. Now he's a head coach. So it's gonna. That's what it came down to, which I
Well,
think
yeah,
is
the
great.
function of a CEO head coach is putting the right people in the right places
Mm-hmm.
to do things that you're not maybe strong to do. I mean, I'm going to look
Exactly.
at, I'm going to call it Jim Harbaugh for years. And this was just even before Michigan. I mean, we can go back to San Francisco. Was he successful? Yes, but he had to have control. Once
Exactly.
he learned, and I think he learned at Michigan, once you trust people and you trust your coaches to let them do their jobs.
Yeah, it
I mean
works out pretty well.
that that national championship was done because he released control and let his coaches coach.
Exactly. That's what helped him the most. That's what got them the win. 100%. That's what got them the win. And I think he's able to do that. So I think Mike McDaniel, as a coach, should be an offensive coordinator. He's a genius. He could turn any offense into a really good team. And I think Goff would benefit from it. Gibbs would benefit from it. Jamison Williams would benefit from it. Laporta would benefit from it. The one guy who I think wouldn't would be Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think Amon-Ra, if you look at how Waddle and Tyreek Hill were in um
Miami.
in Miami,
Yeah.
Williams might be the wide receiver one next year. So glad I got this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I believe in McDaniels. If he does come, I think he can be a really good coordinator. So Mike McDaniels, put in a good word, please come.
I'm just saying, if he came to Detroit, the rest of the league better watch out.
Because then Kelvin Shepard, because then Dan Campbell could help Kelvin Shepard with our defense, and then the rest of the time, McDaniels can just do his own thing and make our offense great. So.
Well, the Lions, man, they just got to figure out the key to not having so many damn people hurt on the defense.
Fire the strength and conditioning coach.
That's been the issue for the last 2 years.
You know what it is, and this is gonna sound like such a baby football take, like oh, football's supposed to be like this. They hit too damn hard. They're always going for that kill shot, and that's how we get hurt. You do not notice that? We always go for that kill shot. That's how we get hurt. It's because all of our guys play at 1,000,000 miles a minute, which is great. Dan Campbell gets these guys motivated, but that's why we get hurt. We play too damn hard. You hit too damn hard. You can play hard. You hit too hard. That's why you get hurt. You hit too hard.
Yeah.
So our defense always hurt because our DBs are always trying to get that kill shot instead of just wrapping up and tackling. You get hurt a lot less doing that. So if we can learn that, but we'll see. We will see what we can do. Anything else you want to talk about for the day?
We're gonna do like a Detroit sports wrap up.
Pistons won again. Red Wings are currently tied.
First place in the East.
Obviously.
Red Wings first place in the Atlantic.
Like what
Michigan basketball. Well, we dropped. We lost to Wisconsin, so we dropped to number 4. But we're
if
still
our one loss is by 3 points, that's not bad. We didn't get blown out. You know, we're and it took them shooting 45% from 3 to beat us. It took a team having one of the best shooting nights ever to beat us.
Well, they should, and I hope they learn from that for the fact that you gotta contest some of those shots.
Yeah,
you just can't let those guys shoot the ball.
No, not at all.
If you do, they're gonna make them. So,
that's why I think
our bounce back game was the other night against Washington, which they won by 10. So I mean, they were able to bounce back and get it together.
They're human. That's what I'll say. They're human.
Yeah.
They lose sometimes.
Tomorrow is it tomorrow or Sunday? Tomorrow. They're in Oregon, so we'll see what they can do. So
that's gonna be a good game.
Michigan hockey #1, Michigan women's basketball #6.
Yeah.
Michigan football hired their head coach.
Kyle
Coach
Whittingham, great,
He's
great,
bringing,
great, great hire.
there's a lot of good vibes going around there, bringing different coaches in, keeping
Yeah,
players. I mean, everybody's, these people on social media talking about, oh, well, we lost this guy to the portal, lost this guy to the portal. Let's look who we gained. Okay, we're
exactly.
gaining a lot of guys from the portal. Guys that want to be here, guys that want to play for him. So
Yeah,
next
that's gonna
year
be
should
good.
be interesting.
We'll see. I think next year will
Absolutely.
be a building year, and I think the year after that, will be ready to compete. I think this will be a building year. Then junior year Bryce Young, the year after will be like a Bryce Underwood, sorry, and then that'll be like a guy that's like, all right, let's get it going. So yeah, I think it's all gonna look up. Obviously we talked about what we want for Michigan or for Detroit, Lions, Tigers. Trade Scooble at this point. Kyle Tucker just went to the Dodgers. The Dodgers are gonna three-peat. Trade Scooble and build for the future. Don't go all in. We're not winning anything now. So, and there's no more free agents on the board to even go all in. So, if you weren't going to do anything, just don't do anything. Let's just be poverty for a few years and then hope we can do better. Because last year was really a good shot, and then we had two guys in our bullpen go out. We had Job and Reese Olson go out, two young pitchers, and then that just screwed everything up. So, I say I love Scooble. He's a great guy, but if you want to get something out
Yeah.
of him,
I mean, we want to talk about baseball because pitchers catchers report in less than a month.
we'll see. I know baseball's
Yeah.
starting up soon. I'm excited. I miss baseball. I was
Well,
never a baseball guy. I missed baseball.
I just got to mention one thing as a sports fan and being here on the West Coast. Got to watch a lot of the West Coast games and West Coast teams. I watched that the end of the Las Vegas Golden Knights Toronto Maple Leaf game last night. Toronto was up 5-4 late in the game, and there's like 43 seconds left in the game. Vegas pulled their goalie, got a 6-man out there, and it was such a beautiful shot. I mean, I don't know where Toronto's defense was because they weren't there because the two forwards let in, and the guy behind him was coming in. They dumped the puck to him. It was a clear shot, tied the game up, and then they won it in overtime. I mean,
Hell yeah.
that's an entertaining
Yeah.
game. So
You just got to appreciate sports.
when you can tie it up with less than a minute left and then win it in overtime.
Yep.
So yeah,
World
that was a fun game to watch.
World Baseball Classic is coming, so that's gonna be fun. Countries all over the world come and compete in baseball, and that's gonna be fun to watch.
So I shared this with my fellow girls flag football coaches today. Want to guess on who the first D1 school starting a women's flag football program that just was announced today?
I would assume Michigan.
No.
Oh, who?
Nebraska.
Nebraska. Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, the sport is exploding.
That's good. That's really good. I know there's like national combines now for it. So I mean, people are getting offers to go play.
Well,
so,
the NFL's making men's and women's flag football leagues, so that's coming. But I mean, from the college level, so these athletes can get scholarships. It's just blowing up.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of schools out there, a lot of the NAIA and the D3s that are offering scholarships at these combines.
Lost you for a second.
They're starting to open it up.
Yep, I lost you for a good few seconds. I lost you at NAIA. Continue what you were saying. I lost you at NAIA.
Well, I was saying NAIA level D2. It's just growing up to D1 where these girls are going to have athletic scholarships for this sport.
Yeah, I think it's really good for the sport. I think it's gonna be really good. I really do.
It's fun being on the ground level at the high school level to build these girls up to see what they can do.
Exactly. Yeah. No, they do. It's nice that what you're doing, obviously, with coaching them young, so then when they get older, they can actually have the opportunity to go to school for it, which is nice. It's always great to have that for multiple different sports. So yeah, I'm really excited to see where the sport goes and where it ends up taking a bunch of young women across the country. Am I frozen on your screen? Or no? Sorry.
No.
Okay. Yeah. No. I think we're good. I think.
Okay.
Said everything I want to say. How we'll see you guys on Tuesday. Obviously, it's gonna be a little offsetting. We're gonna have the games tomorrow, then Sunday, and then National Championship Monday. Tuesday we'll be back to recap everything. We're talking everything. We're recapping everything that happened. Why teams won, why teams lost, our favorite player, and then we'll talk about the championships, obviously, And obviously after that, I would like to do our awards. I want to give awards to the NFL. I want to do our predictions the week that they come out. So there's a lot of great stuff to come back. You guys need to come back next week on Tuesday.
So let's give a shout out to our cousin Ryan Giamona. He turned 15 2 days ago.
Happy birthday.
So,
Happy birthday.
We love the guy just for the fact that, he's super into fantasy football.
Loves sports as much as us.
He keeps our family fantasy football season always alive and intriguing with trade proposals and everything he just does. So
we
Ryan,
traded a bunch.
Happy 15th birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday.
And look forward to seeing you soon. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that shout out to him.
Happy birthday. All right, are we good to go? We did everything?
We're good.
All right, hey. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. We'll be more consistent with it this year. All right.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right. Peace out, guys. Goodbye.
Peace. Later.